This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Substitute goods can be defined as those goods that customers view as alternatives. They can also be seen as those goods that give consumers similar benefits. In other words, these goods satisfy the exact needs. In most cases, the buyer considers several things before making their final decisions on the choice of the goods to buy, especially in the case of substitute goods. In this case, pens and pencils can be considered as substitute goods. This is because they yield the same benefits to the consumer. For instance, both pen and pencil are used for writing. They can be used interchangeably. Consumers may decide to write using a pen or a pencil. Therefore, pens and pencils are perfect substitutes. This is because they are both used precisely for the same purpose, which is writing. Impacts on supply of pens of a technological breakthrough which reduces the cost of producing pens. Substitute goods usually offer a high level of competition in the market. This is because buyers can easily substitute them at any time. This aspect creates competition between these products. In this case, if a technological breakthrough reduces the cost of producing pens, then the minimum price levels that pen producers can offer in the market will fall accordingly. This will lead to a fall in the prices of pens. However, the prices of pencils will remain constant. The quantity of a product supplied in the market is directly proportional to the prices of the product in the market. In other words, the higher the prices, the higher the quantities of a specific product that producers will be willing to provide. In this case, technological advancement has led to a reduction in the cost of production of pens. This implies that the producer will be willing to supply a larger quantity of pens at the prevailing price levels. Therefore, the quantity of pens supplied in the market is more likely to increase. As a result of a reduction in the production cost of pens, producers may decide to lower the prices. As a result, pens will become cheaper compared to pencils. Since the two commodities are substitutes, some buyers will shift from using pencils to pens. However, this statement is based on the assumption that consumers behave rationally. A rational consumer will tend to choose an alternative that maximizes their benefits and minimizes their costs. A technological breakthrough in pen manufacturing will cause the supply function of the pens to shift outwards. The number of pens supplied will increase significantly. This is a result of an increase in the quantity demanded as a result of a fall in prices. Impacts on the price of pens and the quantity demanded for both pens and pencils after a technological breakthrough that reduces the cost of producing pens. Since substitute goods can be used interchangeably, they exert competitive pressure if the prices or quality of one of these products change. In this case, technological development has led to a significant reduction in the prices of pens. As a result, the quantity of pens demanded will increase. The quantity demanded is inversely proportional to the prices. In other words, the higher the prices, the lower the quantity of a product demanded, and vice versa. After a technological breakthrough, the production of pens falls significantly. As a result, the prices of pens fall. Therefore, it is clear that the quantity of pens demanded will increase significantly after a fall in prices. On the other hand, the quantity of pencils demanded will fall significantly. Since pens and pencils are substitutes and serve the same purpose to the consumer, most buyers will turn to buying pens because they will be cheaper. Substitute goods usually have positive cross-elasticity of demand. This implies that an increase in the price of one of these goods leads to an increase in the price of the other good. Consequently, the number of pencils demanded will fall significantly. A decrease in the prices of pens will cause the demand curve for pencils to shift. This leads to a significant reduction in the quantity of pencils demanded. Managers' tasks for pen makers and pencil makers. From the above discussion, it is clear that the technological breakthrough in the production of pens will favor pen manufacturers while it will present a big threat to pencil manufacturers. This is because the quantity demanded of pencils will tend to fall as more people shift from using pencils to pens, which are now cheaper than before. Therefore, there is a need for the managers of pen makers and pencil makers to take appropriate actions in order to retain and improve their performance. For the pencil maker manager, it is advisable to take appropriate actions that can reverse the trends of demand for pencils arising from a fall in the prices of pens. One of the actions that managers can consider is differentiation. Differentiation significantly increases the sales of substitute goods, which tend to compete in the same market. According to Forgang Einolf, differentiation will also help the pencil makers reduce prices to unprofitable levels. Since pens and pencils do not have exactly identical features, it will be easier to differentiate the two products. This can be through improvement in the quality and also by introducing a wide variety of pencils. As a result, buyers will tend to buy the product to enjoy the unique features that are not present in the other substitutes. As a result, the demand for pencils will increase. On the other hand, pen makers' managers need to apply appropriate measures to maximize their profits. Since the level of demand for the pens has increased, the managers should take necessary measures to increase their production to satisfy the increase in demand. This will help in reducing shortages of pens in the markets. This may require expansion in their production capacities in order to satisfy this demand. Did you like this substitute goods, pens, and pencils sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the database of academic paper examples at ivpanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs.